as gamers around the world rejoiced that the Nintendo Switch 2 didn't have any weird Nintendo ridiculousness, such as a carry handle or cardboard Joy-Cons, a voice from the crowd suddenly proclaimed, "Yes, yes, very good, but how many kidneys do I have to sell to afford it?" In response, Nintendo glanced left and right, nervously adjusted its tie and shouted, "Look over there!" before using a P-Wing to fly back to their gold-plated ivory tower. In the days that followed, we learned that not only was Nintendo's new black plastic cuboid going to cost a lot more, but just about everything needed to make it worthwhile was so extortionately priced that the only people who will be able to afford it are those of us miraculously born with 3 kidneys and Nintendo employees themselves. President of Nintendo of America, Doug Bowser, who is apparently not a turtle, was quick to defuse the situation by unbuttoning his Brioni shirt and making beckoning gestures with his hands for us all to suckle like the little bitch pigs we are. Yes, the Nintendo community is certainly buzzing at the moment. Well, buzzing in the same way a wasp buzzes when it's drowning in a can of Sprite. But as the saying goes, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. Unless you're the Wii U, the Google Stadia, and anything Ubisoft has released in the past 5 years.
Hey everyone, I'm Hev.
And I'm Hell.
And this is the
Sprites Nintendo Show.
Just before we start, hit subscribe to catch all our new episodes, dropping every first Friday of the month.
And if you can be bothered, leave an amusing, offensive, or downright interesting comment below, and if it's spicy enough, we'll read it out on the next show.
Matthews J comments, "It's such a shame this series doesn't get more attention, but I hope you keep going long into the future. I look forward to it every month." Oh, thank you.
Next month's comment won't be so nice, promise. And yeah, maybe one day a drunk, urine-soaked Mr. Beast will weep as he regales us with how everything was going great until those 2 spherical showed up. But that day's not today, is it?
So, have you all pre-ordered your Nintendo Switch 2 yet?
Nope, didn't think you would have. Now, is that because you can't find one, can't afford one, or because you're boycotting Nintendo, the greedy
No. At the time of recording, the Switch 2 is $450 in the US. That's up from $300 for the original Switch.
And that's a 50% increase. Or, if you're a bit slow like Hev, number got more bigger.
But you do get quite a bit for your money. The Switch 2 is much more powerful, and there's now much more tech in the dock. There's even
What tech's in the dock? A cooling fan?
There's more than that.
And it's not the console itself that's the biggest problem. It's everything else. $65 for a GameCube controller that's locked behind a Nintendo Switch Online membership? The GameCube controller for the Wii U was like $30. It's more than doubled.
This new one's wireless though.
Good. Means I can throw it out the window. Look, imagine you want to play Mario Kart World with a friend, and you'd like to be able to see and chat with them online at the same time. Not unreasonable in this day and age, no?
No, not at all.
Well, you'll need the console, the game, Nintendo Switch Online membership at the very least, throw in a couple of reasonable extras we all like, such as Pro Controller and a decent carry case, and you're looking at nearly $800. They're screwing us so hard you'll want a cigarette and a nap after buying it. And quite rightly, some people have said, "F*** this, I ain't getting screwed like this. It's time to boycott Nintendo. Don't buy the Switch 2. Let's teach them a lesson."
Well, this boycott isn't gathering much steam in reality. You can't find a Switch 2 for love nor money. And Nintendo's sales projections look pretty formidable.
Yeah, well, what do they know? Hang on, the Switch was a juggernaut, right? Best-selling console ever. Nearly. So think about it. If only 1% of everyone who bought a Switch went mental for the Switch 2 at launch, that's still a ton of people. But once they're out of the picture, then we'll see. Not too big to fail, you know.
You know, none of this is new. I don't quite get why it's blown up the way it has. Back in '96, Super Mario 64 was going for $70. That's about $140 in today's money. Some games hit $80.
Yeah, well, they were screwing us in the 90s too then. What did the N64 sell? 30 million?
33 million, I think.
Yeah, that's not great, is it? Proves my point, doesn't it?
Not really. Remember all the grief the Switch 1 got before launch? Still sold like crazy. Look, I'm not thrilled about these prices either, but let's be real. A game's worth whatever people are willing to shell out for it. If Mario Kart World flies off the shelves like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did, then what?
It's not a given that Mario Kart World is going to be any good. Not every Mario Kart has done crazy numbers, you know. A couple of shit review scores here, there, and everywhere, and you never know. Things might turn sour, especially when gamers are itching for another reason to rip on Nintendo. I know I am. And let's not forget the launch of the 3DS. Remember that? Nintendo screwed us with the price then too. Thankfully, the flailing sales meant a massive price drop, so we got our own way then. 6 console refreshes later, and everything was tickety-boo.
I suppose the DS and 3DS situation is actually quite similar.
There's one thing and one thing alone that will make Nintendo change their mind about the pricing. Those sweet, Sweet sales. They're confident now off the back of the Switch, sure, but the Switch 2 needs momentum, and lots of it to carry on for the next decade, or however long it limps on for. Trust me, buttocks will be shifting at all this outrage. They won't say it, but they are. I can hear them squeaking all the way from Japan.
Making games these days costs a fortune. Prices have skyrocketed this past decade. It's a gamble pouring years and years into a project. So is $80 really too steep for a game you'll sink hundreds of hours into? I mean, you're dropping like $20 at the movies. At least.
No, don't start banging that drum, you idiot. Nintendo made roughly $1 billion on Breath of the Wild alone, and that's pure profit. And they're about to sell it to us again on the Switch 2, after spitting on it and rubbing it on their sleeve for like 15 seconds.
Yeah, but games like that are the exception. Times are tough. We heard all the awful stories of the indie game studios that were shut down last year, all the layoffs at bigger studios too.
Yeah, I heard some execs' paychecks dropped under $1 million last year. Oh, the heartbreak. Better roll out another $120 premium edition. And this one comes with an exclusive hairstyle that makes you look like even more of a twat. If we don't draw a line in the sand gets kicked in our faces. We have nothing else in our arsenal. Boycotts and hurty words are all we have. You can't blame gamers for wanting to do something, anything to make Nintendo listen. And okay, it's not got much steam now, but a boycott could get some momentum, you never know. Or,
Or what?
some people could maybe come out and say Nintendo touched them inappropriately.
What do you mean Nintendo touched them? Don't be silly. What, the building? The thousands of employees?
Hey, if you want results, you've got to play dirty.
It doesn't make any sense. Look, I get it. I think maybe the biggest problem is the feeling of helplessness against a massive global conglomerate. But what is accusing Nintendo of touching you supposed to do exactly?
Okay, fair enough. I know what I would do, though. Don't like the pricing? Don't buy it. Just boycott it yourself. Spend your money on a decent little indie game instead. If millions of people shell out $80 for Mario Kart World, so be it. More fool them. Be the change you want to see. Shouting on Reddit means very little to Nintendo. The bottom line, however, does.
And I guess if you do have the means to splurge on a Nintendo Switch 2 and all the trimmings, go ahead. If you feel the price is worth it. If it isn't worth it, in the end, Nintendo will tinker with things. Just like they did with the 3DS. They really don't want another N64, GameCube, or dare I say Wii U on their hands. I'm sure everything will work out okay in the end.
Nintendo touched me.
Oh, hell. Are we still gonna buy a Switch 2 after all this?
Well, of course we are. I can't wait to play Mario Kart World. Even if it gets a 4 on IGN, I don't care. Oh, we need a carry case too, remember? And the camera. Can we get that Piranha one? How much was the GameCube controller again?
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a comment and we may just read it out on the next show.
Just don't bore me to death, okay? Or I'll boycott reading them.
Remember, we're on YouTube, Spotify and X. Come say hello.
Yeah, we've got all followers on X. We need all the help we can get.
On YouTube, all the links are in the description. Thanks again for watching and we'll see you next month.
Yeah, bye.